Hello, I'm back. Still not feeling great, but it's alright. I want to put my other Bushwacker on. Having one just looks pathetic. So I'm going to put that one on the back and then have a look at the front. First, need to get access so you can get through these screws. This particular one. And on the other side, so I've got to take the wheel off, do that next, and then you take off the plastic cover. I've decided to leave them off because I prefer the way it looks without them on. Anyway, I'll take the wheel off and I'll show you how to take the cover off. Taking the screws out at either end, and then it's just a matter of getting something to pop these off. And that's about it really. Do that all the way along, and then it just pushes down and pulls off. And then there's the next step. I'll do that now. Next step, take these screws out and take that little panel off, plastic panel. Alright, when I've done all that, I'll show you again. After you've removed the mud flap, this has got to come out too. I thought they were pull plugs, but I just cut them. So yeah, take that one out. Alright, there's a couple of 10mm nuts at the back, and the bracket at the back there needs to come out. Here comes my handy tool. My Aldi tool, which is quite handy, I found. Okay, well, I've marked it as per instructions, which you can get online from Bushwacker, download it and print it out. For the back section, it says to cut the bumper cover only to start, so I'm just going to cut that. Next. By the way, for most of the cutting, I'll be using this, a little angle grinder with a really thin blade, which I found to be quite good for the job. Then after you've done that, you also cut that support bracket at the back, flush with the line. Then you make the next mark and you cut this section off up to about here. Okay, after you've cut that bit off, about every inch apart, you cut horizontally into the wheel well. Not too far, so you cut into the inner guard, but up to it. You can feel it with your finger. Alright, you can make lines if you want, but I'm just going to estimate an inch apart. So that's what we're going to do now. After you've done that, you basically just get a hammer and tap them back up against the wheel arch on the inside. You bend them inwards basically. I'll show you when I finish doing that. Oh well, that's basically what that looks like afterwards. You caulk that all up afterwards. I've got some underbody spray I put on as well. I put it on the back actually before I bent it over. All you've got to do now is trim that little corner bit off, and then we're up to the next section. I'm definitely doing this side a lot quicker than the other because I was a bit more worried on the other side. I've had a bit of practice now. Well, basically you groove this one the same, so you can also bend that over so that curve, I guess, flows with the top. So I'll cut that and show you after I've cut it. Okay, I've cut it and I've sprayed body deadener behind it before I belt it flat. It doesn't say to do that in the instructions, but that's what I like to do. Alright, I'll bash it flat and show you the finished result. Why is it not focusing? Anyway, there is 2 layers there, so it pays to separate them. Bend back the back layer first, and then after that do the outside layer. Inner layer, then outer layer. Put some body deadener between the 2 if I was you. Alright, so basically that's what it looks like when you're done. And then after you've done that, you caulk it all up. You could use caulking or silicone, black underbody, I guess anything you like, just to keep the water and dirt out of that edge that's been folded over. Alright, once you've done that, you assemble the 2 back pieces together. There's 2 bolts holding this joint, but I put a couple extra in because it was a bit warped, and yeah, and a couple of tech screws just held it just that bit better. Alright, line it up with the door and the car, make sure that's it, and then make a mark. And then you can remove it. Then I've got to check out the next step. Okay, well, finished marking it as per instructions. Now I'm going to cut it as per instructions. First along the curved line here. And then we have, like we did on the other side, we have to cut slots up to the line, but don't overcut it, because the trimming very tight, very close fit. Alright, wish me luck, and I'll show you when I'm done. Alright, I've cut it, and now I'm going to peel that outer layer back. Alright. Eventually this bit here, goes the other way, will take the place of that. Anyway, I'll pull it back and I'll show you. Most of these just pop all the way off, but some of them will stay because they have spot welds. Simple way to deal with that is just grab with a pair of pliers and wriggle it, and then the spot weld will just break. No problem. Alright, I've removed the outside, and with a pair of pliers I've straightened out what was left. Now I'll need to cut neatly the inside liner level. There's a bit of foam in there and stuff. I would rub all that out. And before putting the trimming on, I fill this up with hard setting silicone to seal it off a bit better. Yeah. Anyway, I'll show you when I've done the next step. Oh well, that's it all cut off. I've left the inside a little bit longer than they did, because what I like to do is fold it back, so that, and then I'm going to put some silicone in there and then panel beat it back, so give a bit more strength to the edge. Oh, here we go. Where? Then this bit comes along. and lines up with that, and with that, like so. So now I'm going to put some silicone in there, really hard setting silicone, and then bend it back more with the hammer, and then put some clamps on it, let the glue set hard before I put that trim on. Just a little bit better, stronger join that way. Alright, I filled that gap up with really strong silicone, and I've put some clamps on it, and that should set reasonably firm in an hour or so. And then I'll still put caulking on the back of that before I screw it on. And in the meantime, I can carry on putting the back section on as well. I still got to do the door trim as well on the outside of the door, so that can set hard while I'm doing that. Whew. I'm exhausted. Well, I've screwed that back piece in place. The angle brackets, supposed to be some angle brackets in the inside of the bumper, they're missing. I also had to buy trimming that was missing as well, so hey, but you get that when you buy second hand. Meanwhile, that glue's setting hard. I'll take the trimming off the door. Hang on, yeah, it's still filming. The trimming of that door, mark it, first, then trim it. I think I'll have a coffee first, or sit down, painkillers, I'm naked. I was getting there. It just looked really stupid driving around with only one at the back. At least now it'll look even with both back ones done. Okay. Okay, the clamps are removed. And this is all set nice and hard. I need to cut this. I've got to bang them out of the way. It says that way. Now, it says to caulk this bit, but in my opinion this never needs to come off for any reason that I can think of. So I'm going to use Sika and permanently glue it in place. I'm just going to put a bead of it at the back of this, and that way water and dirt and everything will stay out, and I'll screw it in place and it will hopefully never cause me any troubles. Anyway, I'll do that and I'll show you the end result. Okay, I've put the Sika or silicone. I use Sika when I can afford it because it's the best stuff, all around the edge, so that if I dust, dirt, mud, water will stay out of that cavity. I've also bent that edge over out of the way, and I'm now ready to screw that panel in place, hopefully forever. Alright, well that's in place. I put a clamp up here. I don't know whether it's the way it's been stored or the way it was, but it had a bit of a buckle in it, so I put some glue behind it and clamped it. So yeah, that's what it looks like there now. I haven't put anything in here yet. The kit tells you to heat that plastic panel up and flatten it and put it back in place. Well, I'm not doing that because I've got some flat rubber I want to make some custom mud flaps out of, and for that I'm going to need some steel. So I'll probably get some checker plate or diamond plate or propeller plate, whatever you want to call it, and make a plate for that here that goes behind this, so I can hang a mud flap off that. I don't want to put that bit of plastic back, so yeah, that's the reason why I'm not showing you I'm putting it back, because I'm not. I may just put a screw in here for now to stop any movement, but otherwise it's all pretty solid. I'm pretty happy. Oh, the door is next. Coming up in a second. But there's definitely a shitload more room under there. It's even going to look, the tires that look big before look a bit small. So who knows what I'll do in the future. May even go for some slightly higher lift and bigger tires. Who knows what I'll do. Boys will be boys. Okay, this is a little bit more difficult. You have to line this up. And because the plastic is in the way, it's hard to get a good line. But basically, the best you can do is the best. Gone straight past it. So anyway, you've got to make that line there. While I've got my assistant handy filming, I will show you how to remove the bottom panel. The way I do it anyway. You basically just drag your knife through the tape like that, and then pop it off. Now in the kit it says take all this tape off, and reuse the tape that they've got. Well, I don't have, excuse me, I don't have new tape, and it's a pain in the butt having to clean all this off. What we did at the panel shop when I worked there, give it a really good clean this with some paint thinners, clean this with some paint thinners, and basically just smear some Sika on this, just a tiny little bit of Sika on this. That's all you need to do, and then put it back. No need to replace the tape. The Sika will hold it in place just as good as new tape will. We never had any problems at the panel shop, so that's what I would do. Now I've got to go and cut this. I think it's on this side of it. I'll just go and have a look. But anyway, when I get around that, I'll show you. This is the line I made, and they actually tell you to cut it 1/4 of an inch shorter. So I've drawn another line 1/4 of an inch shorter. I'm going to cut just on this side of it. I want it a touch long, because once you cut it too short, you can't fix it. So I'm going to cut it a touch long, and then sand it down to the size I need when I'm putting it back on. I made that mistake on the other side. I cut it right on the line, and at the bottom it was too short. So there's a slight gap at the bottom I'm not happy about. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to cut it a little bit longer than they say, and then just sand it down to size as needed. Okay, just thought I'd let you know that so you don't make the same mistake. Awesome. I'm just going to use my trusty grinder. Which is not working. probably not the ideal tool. Some plastics seem to melt a bit like this one did, but one that's hard will just crumble off, no problem. Still hot. Just let that cool down. Alright, now I've got this should fit a lot better now. Yeah, much better. Alright, I have to go and put the little trim over the edge, drill the screws, and Bob's your uncle, she's done. And then put that one back on. Piece of piss, mate. Alright, I'll show you when I get closer to that. Yeah? Mm. First, make sure it lines up nicely. There is always a little bit of play. Tack screws make great drills. Great drill bits. Do one first. You're only getting to see more now because my lovely wife is here to help film. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing all this for you. You can thank her. Alright, we'll put this one in place. Okay. Loosen this one up a bit. Oh, I'm getting tired now. Can't get it now. Story of my life. And I've lost a little rubber.
This one? No?
No. Where did it go? Still in here maybe? No. I'll have to cut another one. Stop filming! Bloopers! aftermarket trimming I brought. Doesn't fit good, but I think if I heat it up with a heat gun it will fold into place properly. Beautiful. And that's how it's done. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, I prematurely said bye-bye. Still have to put this bit on. And again, just like the other one, this bottom bit is short. But luckily enough, I left it a bit longer this time, so I just have to take a little bit off this top and it should fit perfectly. Just a grinder and a disc, a little bit of eye protection. That's what happens when you don't use a guard because it's too big. Looks perfect.
To rub your hand.
Yeah, I don't have to cut my nails for a week. That still a slight gap here, so when you do yours leave a bit of extra here. I don't know why. I even use this again to remark it on the floor later, and again it's just a touch short, just like the other side. So just make a point of that when you do yours. It's not bad. I'll just put a bit of silicone, black silicone in there, it'll be fine. But anyway, like I said, you don't need double-sided tape, just a bit of that glue, and that sticks like shit to a blanket, so no problem. And now she looks normal with a guard on both sides. I felt like a dick driving it around with one flare on one side only. Oh, hopefully tomorrow I'll feel well enough to do the fronts. They look a lot easier than the back. One thing my father always taught me, do the hardest jobs first. So as you get tired and exhausted, only the easy jobs left to do. And that's been a good lesson. That was a good lesson. So I knew these were harder than the front, so I did them first. Anyway, share the shit out of it. Like, subscribe, tell your mates. Awesome. Thanks for watching.